Hey guys, it's Tinker Taylor here today with another Pokemon build series video. And yes, right off the bat, this is a huge video. I did not expect it to be this long. To be perfectly honest with you guys, when I started this build, I was like, oh yeah, like it'll be maybe like a half an hour build, which is about 2 hours worth of building. And sometimes, I'll cut out bits and pieces here and there, or like stuff that's like I'll speed up. If I'm scrolling to look for something, I'll speed that up twice as fast so that we're not just sitting here scrolling forever. And this turned into over 4 hours of footage. Before I cut out I did part of this on stream, part of this, the first bit not on stream. But yeah, like the part that I was like, I seriously did not think it was going to take this long. I think it was like 3.5 hours into the stream that I was like, ooh, we're not done yet. And I've already got at least half an hour worth of footage, half an hour worth of footage that I haven't done on, like that's gonna be a long bit. I better hurry up and finish soon, hey. And I mean, I wasn't too worried because I was like, well, I mean, I took breaks and there's moments where I've paused and, we've got like the starting soon screens. Like there was a lot, there's heaps to cut out. Like it'll probably be like, maybe max a 40-minute video. And then yeah, editing it today, I had breakfast when I started editing this video, and I've just finished, and let me tell you, I am way past hungry for lunch. So that tells you, yeah, like I'm a little bit late for lunch, and by a little bit, I mean about an hour and a half at least late for lunch. So yeah, look, this build took me a while, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So the Pokemon we are working on today is called Gastly. And I've realised this entire time I've spelled it wrong, but that's okay. I've realised that before I uploaded it. I will have to quickly edit some Instagram stuff because that I did spell wrong. But yeah, the point being, this Pokemon is a ghost poison type. It looks like a cannonball if it had, like, if a cannonball had facial features, like if it had eyes, not in it, but on it, I guess. And a purple haze around it. Kind of like a fog or a smog. I guess a smog since it's poison type. And so I thought, why not build like a haunted house? There's generally like, I guess, fog that happens within the house and scary things like ghosts and stuff. And sometimes in these houses they put, I don't want to say like poison rooms, but they put like these creepy, some of them have like surgery rooms or stuff like that. So I thought, why don't we do like a little haunted house? I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think I've ever been in a haunted house. I don't think that's something I've ever personally experienced, and I don't think it's something I ever personally want to experience. I am a baby. I'm a ginormous baby when it comes to spooky things, especially paranormal. Cannot do it. Paranormal is too far for me. But if it's psychological, I guess, if it's like a bad people doing bad things, I guess that's like a bit more manageable for me because I can understand people can be bad. Like that doesn't, yes, it scares me, people being bad, but it's something that, you gotta be careful. Like that's just a part of life, unfortunately. I wish it wasn't, but unfortunately it is. But the paranormal stuff, like I don't necessarily believe in any of that stuff. I really don't know. I don't want to think about it because it honestly scares me. But I think the reason why it scares me is because there's no logical rules behind it. If I'm walking down the street and I see someone who's, watching me as I walk past and they're like, trying to act like they're not watching me, but you can tell they're watching, like I'm going to be suspicious. I'm not going to think that they're going to turn into some sort of, creature and take me to some other place. But, people can do bad things. If there's a person weirdly watching me, I'm gonna have my defenses up a little bit, be a bit more aware of my surroundings. But, there's logical things that you can do to keep yourself safe. I don't walk out at night by myself. That's just something I personally don't do. don't really like doing it. I try to avoid it as much as possible. But if I'm with someone, I feel a lot better. You know, I'll do that. Like, there's someone there. I always let people know where I'm going. Like, I make sure there's, you know, safety things going on. I don't just, you know, go off and nobody knows what I'm doing or where I am. Like, even my roommates. So most of my roommates are not here. Some of them are actually on the honeymoon right now. And some of them won't be back until after the honeymooners come back, after the newlywed couple come back. I have no idea when, but they'll be back afterwards. So it's basically 3 of us here right now, and one of them was just like, oh yeah, I'm heading out for a little bit, like, I'll text you if I'll be home or not. And it's like, I don't care where you go. It's not that, like, I don't like you or anything, but I don't care where you go. It's good to know that somebody knows where you are, where you're going, the sort of vague plans, so that if something does kind of go a bit awry, you know, I said, are you going to be home for dinner? I don't know, cool, just let me know. So I know around dinner time, if I don't get a text, something is going wrong. Or, like, just before dinner. But, you know, it's fine. Like, you know, it's all good. But, the paranormal stuff doesn't have rules like that. I mean, I guess it does, you know, oh, if you do this or that or whatever, it'll protect you and this and that and the other, but, like, there's also a bunch of stories of, like, oh, no, that will only work for, like, the weaker paranormal stuff. Like, the stronger stuff you can't stop. And that, to me, is just a big fat no thank you. Cannot do it, will not do it, absolutely terrifies me. And I just, yeah, I am such a scaredy cat. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I am scared of the dark. I'm scared of what's in the dark. I'm scared of not being alone in the dark. But I'm also scared of being alone in the dark in case I come across a situation in which I'm no longer alone. I hope that makes sense. Like, you know, if I'm, again, walking out late at night by myself, I have no idea what I'm going to come across or who I'm going to come across. But if I have someone with me, you know, I'm good. I'm not going to be alone. And that definitely eases my mind quite a bit. But yeah, like I said, absolute scaredy cat. Like, I will not walk around my own room in the dark. I will have some sort of light on. I will not put my feet on the floor if like if I'm laying in bed, I will not put my feet in the floor if the room is dark. Like, you have to turn a light. I have to turn a light on. It's a non-negotiable. I am the biggest scaredy pants. I also have a lot of weird fears. Like, really irrational weird fears thanks to my OCD. Like bathtubs. If it's like a porcelain tub, absolutely cannot do it. I have a fear of the bathtub, like, the falling out from underneath me and me dropping down into the pits of hell while I am unclothed. And that's like a genuine terrifying fear. I cannot do it. Do not want to do it. Don't. No, thank you. So yeah, it's so random and so weird, these fears. But, you know, at the end of the day, what are you going to do? It's just like, I don't have a bath, have a shower instead. Okay, easy. You know, if you're scared of the dark, turn a light on, go walk with someone instead of being alone, you know. And I know there's things you can do to, like, not be so scared, you know. I've walked by myself at night, and that's fine, like, especially in areas that I know pretty well, but in areas that I don't know, absolutely not. That to me is just a bit silly and dangerous. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that brings us back to the original point of I've never been in a haunted house. So if you have ever been in a haunted house, let me know how accurate it is once we actually, you know, get into said build, because I spend all of my time outside. Not all of it, but like a significant portion of it. I'm pretty proud of this build. And the landscaping too. Like, I wanted it to feel very disjointed and unkempt, and just like nature has reclaimed part of this area. Like, they've let a little bit of, okay, like, you know, the entryway or whatever and how to exit, that's all clear. That's probably all clear for the purposes of, like, you know, people not tripping over and suing you. But the rest of the garden is absolutely, like, just, yeah, filled to the brim with all these different plants and whatnot. And I believe for this plant area, which I do for another build as well, because I did 3 builds on this stream, I'm pretty sure for this one and one of the other ones, I did the life and death plants with the vampire plants, and it just makes so much sense in my head. I'm not entirely sure I do it with this one, but for the other one for sure I do, and it makes so much sense. It looks so good. It looks so pretty in my opinion. They go so well together. And, you know, that also brings me to another point of, I've been keeping a spreadsheet. I've talked about the spreadsheet before, where it's got, like, the Pokemon, the types, the build idea, and then I'm also recording in that section where I do the build. So, like, okay, did I do it in Forgotten Hollow or Solani or what? And then the size of the build. I'm also trying not to use the same lot twice for each generation. So, you know, Gen 2 will get a whole new save file, and I can use any lot in there, and that's fine. But Gen 1 at the moment, I don't think I've used a single lot twice. We might get to a point where I kind of have to, but we have, I don't know how to count properly, I think it's 59 left. So there's a possibility that I might actually be able to do it. Small possibility, but I'm going to try. I'm not going to promise it, but I'll try. But I've also started keeping track of all of the packs that I use. Now, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I do put the packs down below in the description. So if you ever want to know how many packs are in there, and I don't talk about it, because sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Yeah, if you ever do want to know, they are always down in the description. I started doing that, I think, maybe last year, and I don't know, it's kind of really handy to see that, to be able to look back and be like, oh, okay, well, you know, this is a pack restricted build, and I have those packs, so I'd be able to, like, use it. Or it's like, you know, I really like this style, and I have these packs, but I don't have these ones, like, you know, what can I use? And, like, you go down there, and it's like, oh, you used cottage living in this build? Wait, I have cottage living. Like, that makes so much, like, I would have never thought to use these cottage living things in this kind of build, because, you know, cottage living is so cutesy and cottagey and calm, and, you know, this is a haunted house. Like, I have no idea if I use cottage living. I can definitely check for you guys, because I take screenshots of each build so that I don't have to keep opening the game. It's so much easier, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I did not use cottage living, of course. I swear there's times where I'm like, oh, well, I clearly used this one, but I didn't. But, you know, cottage living, that's such a wild one to have guessed. But, you know, like, I apparently used Get Famous in here somewhere. I have no idea. Werewolves make sense. Paranormal Stuff makes sense. I was going to say Storybook Nursery, but no, that makes a lot of sense. I did end up making a creepy baby nursery. So yeah, with this build, I honestly, I had a lot of fun. No, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about we'll go back to the fun building. The spreadsheet, that's what I was doing. I'm going to run an analysis on all of the packs that I've used, what's, like, the likelihood of packs being used together. So, you know, when I use cottage living, is it more or less likely that I use vampires with it? Like, it's honestly gonna be the most random stuff like that. It's gonna be a bit of everything. I'm gonna be doing packs with types of Pokemon. So, you know, if with fire type, am I more likely to use Horse Ranch? Which, to me, that makes sense. I don't know why, but that does. But I want to know all that sort of stuff. I want to know as well the types of Pokemon and the worlds that I use, the lot sizes. I want to do it all. I want to run all the analyses that I can. The problem is, it's been a very long time since I've done statistics. I did it at uni. I did so many classes at uni. It's kind of complicated. So with the degree I did, there's quote unquote years. If you follow the plan, there's definitely 100% years. You're like, year 1 you do these classes, year 2 you do these, so on and so forth. But I did them out of order, and I also I did summer semesters, which, boy, was that a lot. I did every summer semester for every degree I did. In fact, I did so much at uni that I graduated one day and I started the next degree the next day. It was insane. It was a lot. Definitely do not recommend, especially if you value your mental health and your brain cells. And that third degree, because I did a double degree and then I did a single degree. That third degree was completely out of order. Like, I did year 2 and 3 classes, then I did year 1, then I did year 2 and 3, and then I did year 1, and I just kept going back and forward like that. And it was kind of a little bit dumb, but also it was easy. It was the only way for me to be able to do the summer semesters, because I think they only had first year in, like, you could do first year any semester at uni. You could do it early in the year, late in the year, in summer. Like, it really didn't matter. So yeah, that's why I set it up like that. But in my double degree, they had, I think it was 4 years of classes of statistics. I think it was technically supposed to be 3 official classes, but they snuck a 4th one in, which they didn't call a statistics class. But as soon as you walked into it, you're like, oh, this is a statistics class. Okay, cool, fantastic. I am so happy for this. I mean, if you're really into stats, you probably were really happy with it. And I think I had the same teacher for most of the classes. It was kind of complicated because you'd have, like, the lecturer, but then you would have other classes for that same course with different teachers, and those other classes, I had the same guy a couple times, and it was really, really good. I really liked it. Like, the first time I got him, I literally just picked random. I was like, I have no idea. I just pick a random. It was more based on the time rather than the teacher, because most of the time when you were signing up, you couldn't see who the teacher was anyway. You didn't find out until afterwards, but sometimes you would know, and I saw that he was teaching it the next time I did it, like the next level I did it, the next year that I did it, and I was like, oh, absolutely, he was fantastic. And I don't know, it was really, really, like, I like maths, but I like maths when I choose to do it. I don't like maths when you make me do it. So I was, a little bit like, with the classes, but it was really cool to, like, be able to read the statistics, because it means now when I'm reading studies that I actually have a very small understanding. I'm not gonna lie, it is a very small understanding, but an understanding nonetheless of what on earth they mean. I was like, why are there random letters here? Like, what does this P mean? But no, I get it now. Like, I understand when researchers say statistical significance, like, okay, what does that mean? Like, are you saying, like, 50% or whatever? And it's like, no, when you do, I mean, it's kind of a standard, but you can kind of adjust the standard, I guess, depending on what you're trying to look for. But it's like, when you're testing for something, it's got to be 99.95% of times it does the thing you say it does. That is statistical significance to me. If you run the thing 1,000 times and 5 times it fails, and every other time it succeeds, or, like, it does what you want. I mean, if you want it to fail and it fails every time and it only succeeds 5 times, whatever. Like, whatever it is you're trying to aim for, like, I trust that. That seems pretty good. And, I also, doing these courses and stuff like that, when you look at statistics, it's not just like, okay, here are how to read them and how to do them, but they're like, here's how to understand whether or not it's actually a good, strong statistic, or if they're kind of, kind of making it up, I guess. If you look at it and you say, I really can't think of anything. Yep, nope, totally lost anything, anything at all, ever. The number of people who own white cars what's the correlation of them having beards, right? That first thing came to mind. That was really, really a struggle. I don't know why. It's probably because I'm hungry. It's absolutely because I'm hungry. My whole brain just, as soon as I get hungry, I can't think. And then you feed me, and then I'm like, okay, great, I'm ready to go again. But yeah, if you go to a car convention, and let's say you're even extra good, and you write down you record the year, make, and model of the car, the age and gender and ethnicity of the people who are the owners of these white cars, as well as obviously how many of them have beards. But like, if you're at a car show, you've also got to understand the statistics of the people attending car shows. So, you know, I'm sure there are plenty of women there, but it's traditionally in the past been a masculine hobby, a masculine thing to do. So I still feel, even though yes, in today's age we have progressed into allowing, I say allowing, but like it's normal for anyone to go to anything really. Like it's a, you know, if I don't know, if I wanted to go to a car show, people don't really blink at that. They're like, whatever. Some people might think, oh, you know, are you here for someone else, like as your dad or your brother or your partner or your whatever, like any of those sorts of, you know, is there a man in your life that you're here actually with, like, or is it a you thing? Yes, that's still people who think that, but it's also, you know, some women are genuinely interested and always have been. But yeah, the point is, if you go to these shows, you're still probably going to have statistically more men there, so you're probably going to have a higher chance of finding people with beards owning white cars versus people without. And I know not every man has a beard. You know, you might go to a car convention where every man there does not have a beard. And sure, whatever. You might come across women with beards, you know, like there's so many things that could play a part of it. And that's the point. The point is, like, you've got to look at everything. You've got to take everything into account. So if you go to, let's say, the university car park and you wait there all day and you record down every single person who drives the white car and whether or not they have a beard. Like, forget about if, like, the age and the ethnicity and all that. Do they have a beard? You're going to have a different outcome than if you were to go to, say, like I said, the car show. There are quite a number of young people who attend unis. That's a pretty big demographic. Is young adults, you know, school leavers, or people who maybe took like a gap year or had, you know, like whatever, like the normally younger people. And I don't know about you, but not every young person I know has a beard. Not every young person I know can grow a beard. So your statistics, even though yes, you were getting more people, probably a wider variety of people, because realistically, who cares like what color car you drive when you're at uni? It's just like whatever, it's a car. It's yeah, like you're gonna have such different statistics. So it's stuff like that. But they've also, like, okay, if you sit in one car park, but there's only 10 cars in the car park and 3 of them are white cars, you've only got 3. Like, that's it. You're not really doing an in-depth thing. Whereas if you were to, I don't know, look at, let's just pretend the census records whether or not you have a beard, and you look at the number of white cars, and you can somehow see, like, for some reason they recorded that, like, for the entirety of Australia, that's really good. You can get some really good statistics from that, because that's a few million people there, quite a few million people there. So, you know, like, that's a really good statistic. So it's not just whether or not the, you know, was it 99.95% yes or no, or whatever it is you're looking for, but how did you come across the numbers that you did come across? The number of times where we, you know, I've had to write in my reports, because obviously we do tests and reports and stuff like that, that, you know, you have to keep in mind when you're reading my report and looking at my stats, like, most of the people here are either, like, most of the people who answer these questions are university age students, and therefore that has an impact on this or that or whatever. Like, all sorts of things. It's absolutely insane the number of things that have an impact. You know, again, it's just like, you can't control everything, but you try and control as much as you can and take into account the effects of the things you can't control, you know? Like, maybe it's a long-term study. Let's just go with that. Long-term study. And you do it over 10 years, but in year 8 of your study, there was a big campaign by a celebrity and a car company, where that celebrity has a beard and that car company chose a white car, and suddenly now all bearded people are driving white cars. Like, that would be something that you would have to take into account. But you could look at the impacts of that ad campaign on your statistics. Like, it's interesting, cool stuff. I really do love kind of pulling apart these things and seeing the in-depth details of it. I find it quite fascinating. You know, we've looked at, you know, personality traits and whether or not you're more likely to do this or that, and, you know, just all sorts of cool things. And, you know, there's some stuff out there that is like, I don't think I could ever personally try and figure it out myself because they're such heavy topics, but, you know, still the statistics behind them are very, very important. Like, you know, looking at the statistics of mental health issues occurring in people and families, and, you know, the likelihood of this and that and the other, and it's very fascinating. Like, again, it's sad because you don't want people to not be okay, but it's very curious to see how these statistics line up and are there, you know? But also there's, I think it's like an Instagram page where they do the reverse, where they take things that are not statistically aligned. They're not, like, you can't relate them. You know, it'd be like, you know, the amount of lightning strikes in Texas versus the amount of ducks born in, I don't know, London every year. And, you know, somehow there is that statistical, like, okay, they you know, correlation is not causation. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like, sometimes things are like, oh, that seems to like, no, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. But it's kind of funny to look at stuff like that. It's so dumb. You know, it's like the rise in popularity of the name Amelia, and the number of, I don't know, mint ice creams sold over the years, and you can see, like, they rise and decline at the same rate, and it's like, that's so random and so weird. Like, these things have no impact on each other, but it's kind of hilarious to look at. I have to find that Instagram account again, because I never actually ended up following it, and I'm so mad that I didn't, because they're so stupid and hilarious, and I love them. I love the stupid correlations that happen there. But anyway, I should probably bring you back to the build. Hey, I don't know, I never know whether or not I should just ramble and rant and talk about absolute nonsense, or if I should actually, you know, talk about the build. So, you know, if you've made it to this point, made it through my rambling, definitely let me know down below. Do you guys care about my rambling? Do you guys want to hear more weird and wacky stuff and stories and things I have to say? Or would you rather me just talk about, like, The Sims the entire time? Because, yeah, I don't know, I do watch other Simmers, and sometimes they do just talk about The Sims, but I've also seen these same people talk about absolutely random things, and I don't really mind either way. Like, for me, it's like, sometimes I want to just listen to Sims-related stuff, but sometimes I'm like, I know there's an event that happened in your life, like Little Simsy getting married, and watching some of those videos leading up and talking about the wedding and stuff like that. Now, I don't watch every Little Simsy video, I don't watch every video out there that's by every Simmer. I feel like I try not to, because of the fact that I don't want to copy. I've talked about this before. I purposely don't look up Sims builds when I'm looking for inspiration, because I don't want to copy. And I feel like it's kind of the same with the videos as well. Like, I don't want to accidentally copy these builds and whatnot. So, yeah, look, I try not to watch them too much, but if I come across one that looks interesting, I'll definitely give it a watch. Because sometimes it does give me inspiration. Like, I watched a James Turner video where he did a Batu build, and I ended up making, it was not the same, I don't wanna, I can't remember what the build was called. I did write it down somewhere, but I can't remember where I wrote it down. It was, I don't know, basically it was a wedding venue, and I ended up building a restaurant. And yeah, like I said, his was very Batu themed, and I was like, oh, actually, there's this like one shot where he's in, I guess you'd say like the chapel area, the part where you actually get married, and he was like, oh, I need to fix the lighting, but to me that was like the perfect lighting, and just like the I was gonna say the texture of it, but I don't know, like the design and everything, I was like, that is perfect, and I ended up putting it in this build, and like, again, not copying him, but I was like, I definitely want to use Batu, a lot of Batu in this build, and I ended up using a lot of it, but it's a very different build in my opinion, and not even, like, my one was just completely basement, so I can't even remember what Pokemon that was. It was, yeah, no clue. It was a restaurant though, whatever it was. I could look it up on my spreadsheet, but I honestly have no idea. I think it's if you're looking for the thumbnail, I think it's one where there's chairs on either side of the, like a little hallway thing with chairs on either side with tables and stuff like that. I think that's what it looks like. It's like lots of stone, and there's some fish tanks, and yeah, I really like it. But anyway, long story short, what I was trying to say was we should probably talk about this build. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but yeah, throughout this build, I actually ended up creating sort of a maze. There's one way to get through the house. So you come in the front door. It's technically the front door, but the build is actually sideways. So you come out at the front of the lot, but the front door's on the side. So you go in, you turn left. I believe that is a lounge space, like a little seating area, basically. The entryway is an entryway. It's got like a little cupboard to hang your jackets up. Not that you will, because otherwise you'd have to go back through the whole house again just to get your jacket. They don't let you leave the front door. Once you're in, you're in. But yeah, there's a little entryway. It's got like a little shoe rack, an umbrella stand, a coat rack, that sort of stuff. You turn left into the lounge space. Yeah, there's like a lounge space sitting area, I believe. And then you turn right into the kitchen. You go straight through the kitchen. On the other side is the dining room. You turn right again, and I think you go through a bathroom, and then you go straight through the bathroom, and you end up in a guest bedroom. And then you turn right again, but you're not going through there. That whole time you've been going around the outside of the house. This time when you turn right, you're actually kind of turning into the middle of the house. There is a library, which is an L shape, and at the end of the L is, so the back of the L is lined up with the entryway, and there's some zigzaggy stairs to go up. So above the entryway, where the top of the stairs are, is a little, it's just got like a fireplace and a sitting area. But then you, again, following the same sort of path as downstairs, you turn left. I guess technically if you're standing at the top of the stairs, you would technically turn right, but I'm looking at it as if you're looking at the floor plan, from, like, if you're looking towards the entry. And then you turn, yeah, like I said, you turn left into another little sitting room. There's so many sitting rooms. Then you turn right into a bedroom. You go straight through that. And then you end up in a cupboard space. You turn right. It's another little bathroom. You go straight through that. You end up in a nursery. Now, the doors on the nursery are actually side by side, but I've put up a little divider thing. I don't know if you guys saw that. So you actually have to go around it. And then you end up in the weird internal room, which is like the, what is it called? Like a weird, I don't know, it's like, it's got these, what, it's from the Get to Work. I know what the fence gate it's for the prison thing. Like when you're playing the game and you've got to lock the people up, it's those like prison fence things. And there's a weird bed and a medical bed in there in these little cages. So like the actors go behind the cages and torment you from the other side, I guess. And then you make your way through. There's a tiny little bit of a maze through there. And then you come out in the next bedroom. And then you go through, and I think I made that into like a weird potion room. And then you go down the stairs and you end up in a hallway, and the hallway leads you to the office that we were just working on just before. And then through, you've got to go like all the way around the office, and through that is the last room, which is just like, it's got like an organ and another sitting area. So I did put a few skeletons and stuff around, but I imagined the real horror is the actors who are in the room who like chase you throughout. So I imagine, yeah, maybe like the cupboard has a secret, like the cupboard in the entry has a secret thing. So once you actually go in, they'll come out of the secret cupboard and kind of follow you through, but there'll be other groups ahead of you, so you guys can kind of like, you know, maybe you will catch up with other people and whatnot and see other actors. And like I said, there's some actors hiding in certain places. You know, maybe there's a few actors like, you know, in that little sitting area at the top of the stairs that I just finished working on right there. Maybe there's one like quote unquote tied to the couch or something, so that you have to like run away from them. I don't know. I would be a baby this whole time. I would hate this. I would absolutely not do this. It's just really scary. I'm a baby. I don't like this. But yeah, look, that'd be creepy little creatures and actors in here spooking you. I mean, I feel like some people would just walk through this and laugh, and you guys you terrify me. Absolutely terrify me, you guys, specifically. I couldn't do it. I just absolutely could not do it. But yeah, it's one of these, I feel like this house is like, it's one of those things where each year you come back and it's a different house, and it's got a different setup, and it's got different scares and different I mean, maybe the actors are the same, but different, the actors dress up differently. And obviously as they go further and further along, it gets scarier and scarier because they're getting better and better at it. So yeah, I don't know, it's such a weird build to have done, because you guys can't really use this functionally. I'm sure you could kind of rip it apart a little bit and rebuild it and it would actually kind of work, you know. You know, there's 2 big bedrooms, you could renovate it a little bit so that, you know, they've each got their own bathroom and whatever, and maybe there's like an upstairs sitting area, but yeah, it's kind of unusable. Unless you want to have a weird maze house, like, okay, you know, Greg's cooking in the kitchen, but now he's got to go to the bed, and he's got to go through this entire maze of a house just to get to bed. I would, you know what? Maybe I'm going to playtest this just for fun, just to see how your sim would get from A to B. You know, like, I don't even know if it's usable. That's the other thing. I'm terrible with usability. I build things and I really don't think about that. I try to sometimes, like, there's certain things where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to tuck the dining room tables really far in. The chairs really far in so that you can, like, at least walk around them. And if you do want to play the game, you could definitely, you know, put the chairs back in a usable place. But yeah, it's just, I like building and making it look pretty, and that's as far as my little pea brain can go. But, you know, sometimes I do try and make it usable, so that, like, when you guys are actually playing it, it's playable. I sometimes I try for, like, 80% usability, and other times I'm like, could not care. I'm gonna trash this place, it's not usable. It goes back and forward. There are certain things that I always try to do, like in kitchens, I always try to leave a minimum of 1 bench clear, like completely clear, so that if you guys need to cook in the kitchen, it's absolutely clear. Like, there's no if, buts, or maybes, you can cook in that kitchen. And other times I'm like, yeah, but wouldn't it be really pretty if I just, like, cluttered it really badly? Although you'll probably notice with, like, I think it was Ponyta, that build, the kitchen I did clutter, but I left 1 bench completely clear because I was like, oh, I mean, if people want to use it, I guess I'll make it usable. So, yeah, look, there's a 50-50 on whether my builds are usable or not, but I do try. I do make that effort. And a lot of things are debugged, so, like, they're probably going to disappear anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's probably stuff that, like, okay, your sim could, like, okay, grab that grocery bag and put it away, and, like, suddenly now you've got an extra bench clear. Like, it's, yeah, I don't know, it's 50-50 with it. But, you know, maybe one day I'll try a challenge of doing a turning off move objects, is that the one? Yeah, like turning off all the cheats and all the stuff and like only building with the stuff as is. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm questioning it. I don't know how well I would do without build mode? Without better build by, because it does all that stuff automatically for you, and it has all of the debug and live edit stuff, and let me tell you, the debug and live edit stuff for the gardens, also debug and live edit are the same thing to me, so if I say debug, I mean both. But yeah, like the garden stuff, absolute favourite. Like, I cannot live without it. It's so beautiful, it's so gorgeous. Like, the stuff, it's I mean, to me it doesn't feel like cheating, because it's stuff that's already in the game. Like, it's there, like, it's everybody, if you, like, even, okay, if we just take base game, the base game debug and live edit stuff, everybody has access to. Like, even if you're on a console, doesn't matter. You can type in a cheat into the game, and it will all appear. Like, it's just that the better build by organizes it for me, so that I don't have to go into the debug menu to look for it. Because scrolling through that is a nightmare. You better know what you're looking for, because otherwise, yeah, it's pain. But yeah, honestly, my game updated today, and I was like, ooh, I've got so, like, I can't do it. Like, how am I supposed to, like, I wanted the build today, and now I'm gonna have to reinstall mods and hope they work. Which is what I do every time. Also, you should always back up before you play the game, before you update the game, and I did not this morning. Because when I opened the game, I was like, whatever, like, I just opened the EA app, and it was like, do you consent to these guidelines or whatever? Like, not guidelines, but you know what I mean, like, the terms and conditions, that's the word. And I was like, yeah, like, I did this when I first got the game. And then I clicked it, and it started updating, and I was like, oh, that's right. You have to consent to the terms and conditions every time they update, and I haven't backed up. So, yeah, I just had my fingers crossed, but I'm definitely going to be backing up my game today, before I build, and then after I build, because I just do not want to lose these. Do you know how many builds I've lost in the previous X amount of time? It's losing one build is bad enough. I've lost more than one, and it makes me sad. It makes me very, very sad. I don't want to lose these things. I put so much time and effort and energy into them, I do not want to lose them. So yeah, for sure, please back up your games and do it regularly. There was some periods of time where I was doing it every single day. But I recommend it at least weekly. At least. If you build a lot, I recommend it more, but if you build, like, every once in a while, yeah. Like, just every once in a while, back it up. But definitely before updates. That is a for sure. Do it before updates every single time, without doubt, without fail, without question. Update, please. Back up before update. Because yeah, I've lost some things over the years that have made me very, very sad, and yeah, it's very heartbreaking to lose these things. Also, if you're not sure how to back up your games, I personally just save it to my desktop. So you copy the file and drag it to that pretty little picture, that background, that, I don't know if you picked it or not, but yeah, that background, like a little file there. And then when you have to back it up again, you go into that folder. So never delete that folder, but go into it and delete the things that are inside that folder, and then copy where your game is and just copy that and paste it back into that folder. That's what I do every time. But if you're worried about, you don't really know how to do that or whatever, by the way, this is for obviously PC or laptop or whatever. I mean, PC stands for personal computer, and the personal, like, it's also a laptop, but, whatever. Not the point. The point is, please back up your saves. I don't know how to do it on console, but I'm sure there's a way. And you can definitely look that up. But if you're not sure and you don't want to do that, and computers freak you out as much as they freak me out, also upload your builds not just to your personal library but to the gallery. Like, it'll be saved online, so you'll have it. It'll be safe, it'll be there, it'll be square. I don't know why it'll be square, but it'll be square. And yeah, I don't want you guys losing these things. It's very important, because yeah, again, the amount of builds I've lost. And also save your builds as much as you can. That's my other problem, is I don't save and then my computer crashes, and I'm like, why do you do that? My computer at the moment is such a temperamental little child. You know, some days I wonder whether turning it on, if it's just going to explode. Like, that, it seriously would not surprise me if it just blew up one day. Like, I could turn it off completely and it would just go kaboom. But that's what you get for having the same hardware for a very long time. So yeah, definitely looking into upgrading it. I've been talking to one of my roommates who is very much into computers. Actually, there's a couple of roommates here who are definitely into it. And honestly, I say to them, here's my budget, here's what I want. Well, actually, what I said to them was, here's what I want, what is the budget for that? And figured out whether or not that was too much to spend. And do I have to do it all at once or not? Like, I just want it to work. How do I make it work? Okay, that's how I make it work. Fantastic. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, I'm very annoying when it comes to that sort of stuff, because I'm like, I just want the things to work. I don't want to have to keep buying things. I just want it to work once, and that's it. Like, just once. I only want to have to buy one thing. You know, like when you buy a kettle, you don't want to have to be buying a new kettle every 10 years. The kettle that my roommate currently has is a kettle that their best friend had for like forever. Because my roommate's kettle died, and my other roommate, the friend of that roommate was getting rid of their stuff, and they're like, yeah, just take the kettle, I don't care, like, have it. That kettle, I feel like, is older than I am. It's ancient. And the only issue with it, is every once in a while, maybe like every 2 months, when you're boiling the water, the lid will just randomly pop open. It's like so super rare, but you know, any kettle you buy nowadays, it's like, yeah, it'll last you 6 months and you have to go buy a new one. Obviously, if you invest in a good quality one, like, it should theoretically last you much, much longer. But yeah, I'm very much of the belief that you should buy things once and they should last. And that is that. I don't want to have to buy things over and over again. But anyway, I could ramble and rant on about that forever, but we're actually getting close to the video, so I probably should wrap up here. Yeah, if you guys want to see more stuff like this, I do come out with a video almost every single day. Just not the last 2 or 3 days of February, depending on if it's a leap year or not. I only do 26 builds for the A to Z challenge, which I don't know if you guys know this, but the alphabet has 26 letters in it, so I only do 26 days worth of building. But yeah, if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.